First, though, making headlines this morning, news on King Charles's recovery, with reports that he's keen to go ahead with a 2-week state visit to Australia after a positive start to his cancer treatment. Royal Editor Russel Myers joins us now. Good morning, Russell. This is a good sign. It's good news.
Yes, it is. Good morning, Christine. Well, I think, after we were speaking about the Easter Sunday service, seeing King Charles full of the joys of spring, and it was good to see him back to royal duties. But yeah, a little bit of baby steps at the moment, although he was mixing with the crowd. Somebody counted 56 handshakes. I think that's a good sign, maybe not for his doctors who were telling him to be a little bit careful, but he has told aides at Buckingham Palace to supercharge plans for the autumn tour to Australia. And the reason why this is so important is because the calendar has been pretty much ripped up over the last few months. We've had a pretty tumultuous time for the royal family, not only because of the King's cancer and his hospital stays, obviously the Princess of Wales is off duties, tours being cancelled all over the place. So the fact that Charles wants to get out to Australia, out to the Commonwealth, where the Queen had been 16 times and remains the only monarch to do so, having last visited in 2011. I think this is really important for sort of Charles's legacy and moving forward, and of course a positive step for his cancer treatment.
Yes, completely. It's a real show of strength, isn't it? So let's hope that all happens. Also making headlines, of course, is the Prince Andrew drama scoop. Lots of talk about it the past few weeks, but it's finally out today.
Well, it is. I mean, this has been long awaited. It's never a good time for the royal family to be rediscussing the Prince Andrew saga. We know it very well. But this Netflix film scoop, based upon the book of Sam McAllister, the producer from the BBC, who pretty much netted the interview with Prince Andrew, tells the story from her version. But it's had pretty much mixed reviews. Some saying it's brilliant, some saying it's a bit off. I actually saw it a few weeks ago. I think it's well worth a watch. There's some standout performances. But, if you've got a spare couple of hours, have a look at it. We all know the story, but it's nevertheless all the most fascinating.
Of course it is. We've got a little clip. Here's a little taster for you. I mean, undoubtedly there are some uncomfortable scenes for the royals to have to contend with.
Well, there are. I mean, Rufus Sewell, who plays Prince Andrew, is absolutely masterful. I think he absolutely nails the performance. And talking about uncomfortable scenes, there's not only the interactions with Sam McAllister, the interview that we all know and have pored over, but him admonishing his staff for not placing his teddies on the bed. It all gets a little bit uncomfortable. There's a scene, if you can bear to watch it, with Rufus Sewell with a prosthetic bottom, can you believe? But when we actually boil down to the detail, we know the story of Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. We know that he denied all those allegations. But as I say, no less fascinating for everybody to watch. And I think it will be an absolute massive success for Netflix.
I'm sure it will be. But I'm guessing there won't be any kind of reaction from the royals about this. They'll just remain quiet, let's put it that way.
Well, I think that might be putting it mildly, because, they've got an awful lot on their plate, the royal family, at the moment, taking a little bit of time off over Easter, but it's been a pretty heavy start to the year. I can't imagine any of them are going to watch it, or at least they won't admit to watching it.
No, of course. It was just last week, actually, you just mentioned her, Sam McAllister, who is the former Newsnight producer, who arranged the interview, and of course this whole drama is based on her book. She did catch up with Lorraine, and this is what she had to say.
I think he felt he'd done a good job. He was very jolly afterwards. Took Emily on a little tour, as you see in the movie as well.
Yes,
that's true.
I know.
And, it was really a real moment where you saw all the journalists going, oh, my God, we've got to get out of here.
You could see that. You could see you just wanted
terrified.
to get the tapes and
Correct.
run for the hills, run back to the BBC before they change their mind.
Oh, my goodness. Billie Piper and her, it's just uncanny, actually, when you see them together as well. They're very, very alike, but it's just all those little details from behind the scenes that we didn't know about. That is what this drama is, isn't it? So you can't help but probably watch it to find out more. There's another one coming out as well, though.
There is. I mean, if one wasn't bad enough, there's two on the horizon. The Amazon drama, A Very British Scandal, is coming out. Michael Sheen playing Prince Andrew, Ruth Wilson playing Emily Maitlis. And it's from the sort of version of Emily Maitlis telling the story, how she prepared for the interview, how she netted that amazing scoop that we've all been talking about since 2019. Can't wait to watch them. Very interesting that Rufus Sewell and Michael Sheen said they kind of felt a little bit, not necessarily sympathy, but they wanted to show Prince Andrew in a different light. And I think, as far as I've seen from Rufus Sewell, he absolutely nails it.
Okay, Right, well, that'll be all the talk, I'm sure, over the weekend. What about Prince Andrew's daughters, Russell? Because there are some suggestions this morning that they could play a bigger role in public life, and they're very well liked.
They are, and I think, listen, they've had a pretty tough time being part of this sort of family machine over the last few years. I mean, you know, Sarah Ferguson's had her fair share of tough times in the past, and then Prince Andrew, of course. But they are pretty well liked. They're not necessarily working royals, but the slimmed down monarchy that we've all been talking about over the last few years is looking pretty threadbare at the moment. So could there be an opportunity for Eugenie, Beatrice to come into the fold? Maybe Lady Louise, the daughter of Sophie and Prince Edward. I'm not too sure. It's a good shout because, you know, we could do with some sort of young blood to sort of bolster the squad, as it were. But, you know, Charles has been very, very key talking about slim down monarchy, making it more accountable to the public. But you never know in these testing times.
No, you certainly do not. Well, Scoop is out on Netflix today, and you can watch Lorraine's full interview with Sam McAllister on our YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much indeed, Russell. Have a lovely weekend.